For the first time in 16 years, the Sacramento Kings currently hold a playoff spot, sitting at 6th in the Western Conference with a record of 11-9. As expected, their defense hasn't been anything to write home about, but their offense has completely exploded. Through 20 games, they have the third best offensive rating in the NBA, but just how are they doing it, and can it hold up? In February of 2022, they made a pretty large trade for Domantas Sabonis, who has 3 major skills that have almost become a staple for bigs in the current era. He can screen, roll, and pass. As the screener, he almost always gets a body on perimeter defenders, whether they're on the ball or chasing an off-ball mover, and forcing these defenders to reroute themselves or recover creates a micro advantage to attack, turning 2-on-2 plays into 2-on-1s or forcing switches. Like here, he cuts off Steph, which forces Looney into contesting a pull-up jumper, leaving nobody down low to keep him off the glass for a putback. This is where you'll see that second skill coming into play with his ability to roll. After landing screens, he does a good job at getting downhill quickly while still positioning himself for easy passing angles, and he absolutely abuses mismatches with quick post pins where he can use his physicality. His interior finishing is very efficient, almost always going up with power, and his touch and versatility really stand out. He also has real ball handling capabilities, notably from someone of his size, adding a short roll dimension to his game where he can put the ball down and attack as a slasher. He's got some strong footwork and great use of spins that help him carve out angles, and a strong hook shot that he can go to when a rim protector still stands in his path. He's also a quick enough decision maker in these spots to punish extra help as a connector, bringing in that third major skill, his passing. He's especially good at finding teammates near the basket, whether that's with dump-offs, laydowns, or tight bounce passes, creating great opportunities for athletic cutters and finishers to score at the rim. Sacramento made it clear that they wanted to unlock this skill set as much as possible in this most recent offseason with the hiring of Mike Brown, someone who was an assistant coach to Steve Kerr for the Golden State Warriors and had tons of knowledge on all of the modern principles involved in constructing a competent movement-heavy offense. Brown pulled elements from Golden State and some of what the Denver Nuggets have been doing with Jokic to build a Sabonis-centric offense, allowing him to control the middle of the floor with actions revolving around him. This of course means tons of lateral movement along the perimeter, more specifically tons of dribble handoffs, and while these plays have become a primary point of emphasis in the advancement of modern NBA offense, they take it to an entirely different level. As a team, they're currently averaging just under 12 points a game off of handoffs, while no other squad even reaches 9, which is the highest mark since tracking started back in 2016. What this does is it enables Sabonis to be a decision maker, where he can exercise his skills as an attacker and passer with the ball in his hands while still pulling the screen and roll aspect of his game into it. Here he initiates a possession by pushing the pace against a recovering defense, immediately hands it off to Herder while landing a massive screen that takes Oubre out of the play, forcing Hayward to slide over and leave an open shooter. These constant, jarring actions also allow Domas to serve as a legitimate floor spacer, despite not posing much of a threat as an outside shooter, as he's pulling rim protectors and bigger paint defenders into perimeter actions, opening up the lane for movement and quick attacks to create spacing, generate paint touches, and completely break down defenses. This has fully unleashed De'Aaron Fox as a legitimate offensive star. While the system is made for Sabonis, he's still playing the role of a primary creator as the guy who initiates a large majority of their advantages, and with a more open lane, he can do what he does best: attack downhill. He may just be the fastest player to ever step foot on an NBA court, with extreme explosiveness but also shifty changes of direction, which he pairs with a lengthy build and strong handle to get deep into the heart of the defense at a high rate. His His touch as a finisher is absolutely phenomenal, capable of scoring through the trees and with added contact, while possessing an insane set of breaks that allow him to create more separation down low. He can slash like this within the flow of the offense, almost playing as a weapon, attacking off the catch and off of movement, using Sabonis screens as a roadblock in the pick and roll or coming off of handoffs, but he can also break free from the system and play more as a traditional on-ball shot creator, which has been huge for their versatility. Of course, he likes to push the pace with that speed and run the floor, which generates quite a decent amount of transition opportunities for himself and others. But even in the half court, when defenses tighten up and clog up potential options coming from movement, he's shown to be capable of forcing the issue and still creating quality offense. This is especially prominent nearing the end of games. His 50 clutch points on the season are good for third in the NBA, and this is where you'll start to see a lot more utilization of his awesome mid-range game. He leverages that interior threat into other scoring options beautifully, having it all from a strong floater game to quick pull-up hitters to stepbacks and fadeaways in any direction. Inside the arc scoring at this level, coming from a perimeter player, is super effective in pressuring the defense, forcing them to rotate, tilt, and collapse, which opens up chances as a passer. He's not an extremely advanced playmaker, but still a good one, which is enough to create a solid amount of advantages through his drive and kick game. This not only leads to open threes, but allows wings to play off the catch and move the ball against a scrambling defense to hunt for easier opportunities. And this sort of domino effect after Fox initiates that first rotation has been a huge staple for this team. They also use him as a passer quite a bit for off-ball sets. Here, Huerter sets a pin down for Murray to cut, and again notice how the lane is completely cleared as Claxton is worried about covering a second screen from Sabonis, leaving nobody to protect the rim. Having both a point guard and center who can initiate actions and make quality decisions adds a ton of versatility to their scheme. This time it's Domas who has the ball. Notice how much space is cleared out, and when Barnes goes to set a pin down for Fox to come towards the ball, he instead rejects it and darts into the paint, causing a miscommunication that leaves Harrison on an island all by himself. The front office did an amazing job at surrounding these two with talented role players who fit their philosophy well, and it's been Kevin Huerter who's emerged as their number 3 scorer. He seemingly never stops moving without the ball, and he's an elite shooter while drifting in any direction, needing only minimal space to comfortably knock down triples on the move, which makes him a viable go-to option for off-ball actions. They like to go to this 3-man set with Fox as the initiator, where Sabonis sets him an initial screen, then flips it into a pin down for Huerter to free up for a top of the key triple. This action weaponizes all 3 of their best skills. Fox's threat as a driver forces Bam to slide over on the first screen, and because Miami is a switch heavy defense, on the second one Domas screens his own man, letting Huerter's shot making do the rest. Here they do the same thing, this time against the Clippers in drop coverage, meaning PG has to fight through the initial screen, which leaves Reggie Jackson in a 2-on-1 situation where he gets stuck trying to chase. George then has to rotate back to the ball, and an extra pass leaves Fox wide open for a 3 of his own. This is a testament to Huerter's ability to play off the catch, both with quick extra passes and by putting it on the floor and attacking. As a result, he's got a virtually unstoppable 2-man game with Sabonis, coming off of handoffs or running around screens, and having the option to either pull the trigger or throw some off-ball jukes to lose his chaser, forcing the big to cut off his drive and shovel it to the roller for 2. These quick, potent decisions allow him to capitalize on his shooting gravity by moving the ball. Sabonis lands another huge screen on the handoff, and Mitchell urgently rotates to take away that 3, leaving a wide open Harrison Barnes in the process. Barnes has had a down year shooting the ball so far, but can pretty much be counted on at this point to shoot nearly 40% from 3. He's also a skilled off-ball player and cutter whose size and athleticism make him a strong interior finisher, and he can handle the ball, attacking closeouts well. Athletic wings who can shoot, play off the catch, and move the ball are kind of a theme on this roster, and was pretty clearly the goal when drafting Keegan Murray. As a rookie, he's still relatively raw in quite a few areas, but with each game he shows huge growth as an off-ball weapon, knowing where and when to move or position himself, shooting off of screens at a decent clip, and also having the size and athleticism to dive to the rim and score in the paint. To me though, the player who stood out the most this season for them has been Malik Monk, which was just an incredible free agency signing. He's yet another good off-ball mover and shooter who contributes to that spacing, but where he takes it to another level is with his off-the-catch playmaking ability. He's not someone you want dominating the ball, but with momentum he can get downhill really well, constantly slashing off of movement, or at closeouts where he's not only a really skilled finisher, but a very sharp passer, here receiving the handoff and getting all the way to the rim for a high-level acrobatic laydown find. Another guy who doesn't get a ton of minutes, but can also shoot, handle the ball, finish, and make the extra pass is Terrence Davis, making 7 skilled players who all fit the system to a T and play off of each other extremely well. Throughout this process, they've been developing a young Davion Mitchell, comfortable giving him a decent amount of reps as an initiator. He's also pretty good at getting downhill and making plays out of drives, both as a finisher and passer, and lots of these attacks come within the system and off of movement. They also have tons of big man options for when Sabonis isn't on the floor. I absolutely love Richaun Holmes as a play finisher and versatile roll man who can get above the rim or punish defenses from the mid-range through his unstoppable float game. Or they can go to Chimezie Metu, who keeps a bit more of that passing while also offering a really solid interior presence. In these non-Domas minutes, they can lean more into the Fox-centric aspect of their attack. Sacramento plays just under 88% of their minutes with at least one of them on the floor, and each variation of those lineups yields a top-tier offense. The reason non-Fox minutes work so well is because of that wing versatility. There's nobody they aren't comfortable letting handle the ball and make decisions, where you'll see some 2014 Spurs-esque possessions where everyone's moving, attacking, and making the extra pass to generate the most efficient shot on any given possession. In totality, what you have is a star creator, a vastly skilled big who can serve as a passing hub, multiple movement shooters, big, athletic wings, and off-ball connectors led by a creative offensive coach who perfectly implements modern principles and elements of the motion offense to build a team-oriented approach that has been virtually unstoppable to start this season. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out my website, podcast, and social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think of the Kings and just how good you believe they are. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.